What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with our Tales of the Rays video. As I mentioned in the PV breakdown last night, if there was anything to talk about in the producer's letter, I would make a video on it. There's quite a few things to talk about here, so I figured I would indeed make a video on it, because it does talk about some future stuff that I think will be, I guess, important. So let's take a look. Let's see. First, regarding the Sanctuary, thank you for cooperation in the beta test for the second month. Sanctuary? Oh, I think they mean, I think that's the new, like, tower stuff. Yeah, partly due to the ease of difficulty, clearing rate below the 64th floor. Okay, so this is talking about the new floors that they added, because, of course, before this update last month, we only had 60 floors, which, if you've been playing since the beginning, you should have like 100 or so characters that can run through the tower. And realize, even with me, if I leave the game on auto, occasionally using a mirage art here and there as it's going through, which you don't even have to do anymore, if you can very easily clear the first floor for 1 through... It's like if you clear the first floor, it'll ask you if you want to skip to floor 10, boom, you fight the boss. And then it'll do that for each floor as long as you keep selecting the option, which is pretty nice. But even with all that, I lose like maybe 4 or 5 characters before I clear all the way to floor 50, if even that. Sometimes I don't lose anybody, just depending how I have my setup. And then from 50 to 60, I lose maybe 1 or 2 teams, and it's not really a big deal. So it's not that hard when I have 160 playable characters that I can use. I haven't really tried these new floors, because they're very restricted, and they don't give rewards that really matter. Like, there's no diamonds to get and stuff like that. It's really just stuff to get better abilities for the tower, so I'm just kind of like, you know, if I feel like doing it sometime, I'll do it, but I'm not really, like, super into it. So right here, they're just talking about all that stuff, so, talking about awakening skills you can get, new features being added. There's going to be some kind of skill where you can recover all your HP, it seems, depending on, you know, certain variables. Yeah, first of all, by entering a designated area, the HP and MG of all allies will be restored. That's pretty cool. So pretty much tower stuff with that. So let's talk about future updates now. Wisteria, the card minigame that you can play in Rays. Online matching and ranking removal. So they're just removing the ranking. I guess they don't want, for whatever reason, they don't want ranked anymore. Maybe they'll explain it down here, but they're removing ranking. Held off problem of being too big, they're going to talk about here. I always wonder about that too, because he is the biggest character we will have in the game. Characters who can acquire the new awakening skill. Okay, so talk about more tower stuff. Change, okay, awaken characters. Okay, let's talk. So in November, we are getting additional renovation of form change, which definitely tells me we're getting a new form change character. I don't know who to really expect in November, but if you are worried about it, because for form change characters, well, for Raven, they made it where you could only get Schwann from the gacha. But then when the collab came around, as long as you, I forget exactly what you had to do. You know, you did the event and then you had to do some other, I think you had to at least summon a little bit to get their free mirror jars, but you could at least get them, which was nice. So hopefully they go even further beyond with that, because form change characters aren't that useful since they only have 1 mirror jar. At least for right now. They might give them seasonals at some point. Update from Winter, Repair of Spirits. So, I mean, obviously this is Google Translate, but what that means is they're going to renovate how spirit gears work. Maybe not so much how they work, but maybe how we obtain the shards and stuff like that. They've been talking about this renovation of spirit gears for almost a year now, so I am curious to see what they're actually going to do. And that's also preparation for the 5th anniversary. The 5th anniversary will be at the end of February. You know, it'll be the final day of February when the anniversary event will actually start. So we are about, what? We're a little more than 4 months away from the actual anniversary, but they're going to start preparing for it starting in, you know, December, January time. So pretty exciting there. New development after the 6th year after the 5th anniversary. So what they're saying here is, once the anniversary is over, or maybe even during the anniversary, is going to be a new development. So we already know that this is the final arc for the story that they're telling. But there's obviously going to be more. They've already reassured us multiple times that the game is not shutting down. It's not going to be like Tales of Link, where they finished the story and they were like, well, we don't have anything else to do, so let's shut the game down. No. I think I mentioned this before, I think one of two things is going to happen. I think A, we're going to get a brand new story with brand new protagonists. I think Ix and Melina will either be killed off, or they will just, they finish their duty. We save the world, and then that's it. And then they can be, like, supporting characters for whoever the new protagonists are going to be. So they'll be, like, the regular Tales characters where they're just around, kind of helping out. The other thing I could see happening is we don't get a brand new story, but we get side stories of just what characters are kind of doing in this world now. Because we already know, once you're exoflected here, you're a version of the character from that. So let me see if I can explain this correctly. So, for example, Lloyd got exoflected from the Symphonia world, obviously. He got exoflected from towards the end of the game. That doesn't mean Lloyd doesn't exist in his own game anymore. He's still there. But this is like a clone, so to speak. He has all the same memories, all the same skills, all the same experiences as original Lloyd. But he's never going to go back to his original world. Obviously, the whole exoflecting thing happened because Ix and Melina needed help from, heroes. So that's why all these people get exoflected. But they're not going to go back to the, when the world is saved, Lloyd isn't going to go back, and live his life back in the Symphonia world. Same thing with every other character. They're here for good. If they die in this world, then an exoflected character just vanishes. They just don't exist anymore. But the character still exists in the original world. So what they could do instead is just have some side stories with these exoflected characters, because they're going to live out the rest of their lives here in this world. I think that's one of two things that'll probably happen. Most likely, I can't even say most likely. I have no idea which route they're going to go. I hope Ix and Melina don't die because, for one, Melina still needs an overlay, and when you kill off characters, it kind of, they don't want to make stuff for them as often because they're not alive. But we'll see. I am very excited to see what's going to happen for the 5th anniversary. I do think they'll probably do the 4 remaining protagonists that need decisive mirror darts. So, and this will be the perfect time to give Alphen, well, I guess it would be his 3rd mirror dart. But Alphen, Ludger, Milla, and Emil are the 4 that still need a decisive mirror dart. So they could be the 4 that, if they don't give us a new character, those could be the 4 that they choose. If we do get a new character, then they'll probably just do Emil, Ludger, and Milla, because Alphen is still relatively new. Although by then he won't be. He'll be over a half a year old. Be his game being out. Repair Spins, time undecided, autumn to whenever. So it's gonna happen sometime, in the near future. Okay, next version update will be 4.8. In late October, we plan to deliver 4.8.1 at the end of the month. No update on the game side for 4.8. Behind the scenes support, iOS updates. 4.8.1 is affected by I can't do much. Prioritize, implement, improvement. Okay. The hell off problem. It's too big to only see the bot. So they're showing it right here, like what it looks like in base. You can't even see his face because the screen up here is covering his face. So they are going to have to scale him down somehow. Specifications have been added so his face fits within the screen. Anna's had similar problems in the past. Okay, because she was on her summon. Her little doll. Okay, and then new specifications about the form change. So that'll be stuff for next month. Management policy. Eliminate the restriction on the number of mirrors with new specific. Oh, so they're talking about how we can now have that 3rd mirror jar equipped, essentially. Implementation of 2nd round of seasonal magic mirrors. So this is a big thing right here. There are some characters who already have second seasonals. Zelos, for example, he got that one special one. You know, the one where he gets knocked out of the sauna. I believe Earhart has 2 seasonals. You know, Melina obviously has multiple seasonals. But I think what they're saying here is now everyone is back on the table. So, which is unfortunate now. I mean, we're still getting new characters, but it would have been nice if at least every protagonist from a Tales main party would get a seasonal before they started this. But they are basically telling us that whenever this starts, you know, everyone's on a fresh slate again. So, Yuri, you know, on the table. Leon, Saray, everyone is back on the table for a second seasonal Mirror Art, which I think is great, actually, because, you know, for the most part, you have your regular summonable Mirror Art, which comes when a character is added. You've got a seasonal, you've got decisive Mirror Art, you've got an overray, and you've got a collab Mirror Art. And then, of course, the crossover Mirror Arts. Unfortunately, decisive, overray, collab, and crossover are not on every banner. Like, if a character is just added as like a fluff unit onto a banner, you can't summon for every Mirror Art they've ever gotten. You know, overrays and decisive Mirror Arts are only on specific banners. Overrays are more common than decisive Mirror Arts because DMAs usually are only on the DMA banner. So having characters get multiple to kind of work with would actually be really, really good. Especially now that we can have 3 Mirror Arts equipped. You've got your usual 2, well, actually 4 technically. You've got your usual 2, your Spirit Gear, and then your Auto Mirror Art. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to start seeing, I would assume probably starting with the 5th anniversary, you know, moving on from that, they'll probably start, you know, going through, which, of course, the popular characters are most likely going to be the ones who get them first. But that's just how it goes. Management rules. I would like to improve the situation where even the main characters do not hit the spot. Also, by removing the binding of mirrors and magic mirrors. Okay, so they want to try to keep things fair still. So that's good. We believe it will be easier to implement new mirrors with characters with less than 3 mirrors. So they're saying people who don't have, you know, like, for example, Yuri has already, like, what? So he's got his regular Mirror Art, he's got his seasonal, he's got his decisive, his overray, his Spirit Gear. He doesn't have a collab yet, but he's gonna get his crossover Mirror Art, you know, next Race Festival with the Yuri and Flynn one. So that's 6 right now. So he's not immediately on the table from what they're saying. Oh yeah, so they're gonna follow up when they start to decide when they start to go with that. Management. At first, when the new Tales of Ep is announced, some people were worried about the end of service. Rest assured that the current stage of Raise is not at that stage. Raise is not going anywhere, everybody. Not anytime soon. However, it is the 4th year of operation, and the Raise is approaching long-term operation. Compared to the 2nd and 3rd years, we have achieved our immediate goal of participating in the race. It is also true that the momentum is not as strong as it was in the beginning. Yeah, but that's just how it goes. You know, we're closing towards the end. You know, because there's not as many new characters to add anymore. And that's what they're going to go on to say right here. After that, in order to fill the gaps of the characters as much as possible, a rule was set for the number of mirrors mounted per character. Currently, the schedule until the end of January 2022 has been finalized. But for the 5th anniversary, we added a long-term management again. I would like to reset the Okay. So yeah, so they're saying, even though things, you know, can kind of feel like slowing down at times, you know, the game, they don't have no plans to shut down the game. Not yet. There's no element of expansion in the future. There will be no turn or new techniques. What does that mean? Oh, so I think, as a result, for characters whose mirrors and magic mirrors that come out. So it sounds like they don't plan to add any... This could mean many things. I think that they mean they don't plan to invent any more new types of Mirror Arts. Like, you know, crossover Mirror Arts are the newest thing we've gotten. It sounds like they make it seem like that there's not going to be any new type beyond that. You know, they're going to stick with the 1, 2, 3, 4, like the 6 that exist. The 6 or 7 different types of Mirror Arts that exist, and just build upon that. The best to fill a different number of techniques, but to make up for the... And so, like, 5 stars as well. There's the 3 types of 5 stars, 4 if you count the collab one. So it does sound like they found what they want to stick with. Let's see. And that's pretty much it for that. Let's talk about the schedule. So, as expected, the Spirit Gear event is going to be first. But what's surprising to me is the Tempest event is not at the end of the month. It's going to be before the story chapter. What they're doing is, so we have the Spirit Gear event early October. So that's going to be this coming Monday. So if you're going to summon or farm up these Spirit Gears, that will be the time to start. Then, it says late October, but this probably means like the 20th. Like the 20th to the 22nd, I would guess. Is going to be the Tempest event, and that'll run till the 31st. Then we have the story chapter, which will be around the 25th, which is its usual time. And we are also getting a raid event, it seems. So it looks like we'll be able to farm up some tickets and stuff like that to summon for Velvet and Fee. Now, we don't know if they're going to be split banners. I doubt they will, because if they were the only 2 on the banner, then you have 2 Mirror Jarts. It'd be very easy to pull what you want. So I do think it's going to be all 4 of them. So that's 1 Mirror Jar, 2 Mirror Jarts. Velvet has 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Velvet will have 3 Mirror Jarts on the banner, so that makes 5. And then Laffy said only has his regular one, so that's 7. So there should be 7 Mirror Jarts total on the banner, if you're going to be summoning. Yeah, it's going to be orchestra themed. Because of the timing of the event, so that's pretty cool for the Tempest event. And then, let's see what it says about the raid itself. So we unlock... Yeah, Held Off and Artorias will be playable. Yeah. Okay, so they're basically saying, you know, even if you don't play during the raid event, you can still get Artorias and Held Off. You know, you get them from the story. And then the last thing I want to talk about down here, with the implementation of Luke's spirits, the remaining heroes... so on the starting lineup screen, they're basically talking about the main protagonists, like the actual main protagonists of each game. The ones who are still missing are, it says Lid, but that's Rid, you know, Rid. Ludger, and Alphen. Alphen was just added recently, so it'll take some time. I don't expect Alphen's Spirit Gear until, like, maybe, like, spring or summer of next year. But they said that Rid and Ludger are being worked on, and their release is a little further away. So either the next Spirit Gear batch or the one after, I expect both of them. They might come together, or they might have separate ones, because for Xillia 2, you could definitely do Ludger, Julius, and Victor together. So there's no guarantee that these 2 are going to come together, but at least they are being worked on, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty much everything. You know, some things to really look forward to. I really don't know what to expect when we finish this story. I do think that Last Cradle's story will wrap up before the anniversary, so that way during the anniversary they can announce what is coming next. We are about to get chapter, what is it, 13? Yeah, we're getting chapter 13 of the 4th arc. So even if the story ends the month of the anniversary, so let's say, you know, February 25th is when the final chapter comes out, and then the 31st is the anniversary, or the 28th, right? February only has 28 days. Then I think that would be where, so how many chapters would that be? So that would be, November would be chapter 14, 15, 16. So there would be 17 chapters total. Then again, they usually like to have a little gap between whatever they do next. So I could definitely see it ending in either December or January. Plus, we're getting Held Off and Artorias, who are 2 of the main antagonists for this arc. The only real characters left to deal with are... I actually can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the big bad, who I always call a Fire Emblem character. He's really the only one left to deal... And of course, we still have to... You know, if we're going by the opening... we still have to deal with the fight between Mercuria's group and Ix's group. You know, we're going to have the Ix and Cocus standoff. Melina's going to fight against Mercuria. And then, of course, we will have the final battle. So I really do think we're only about 2 or 3 chapters away from the end of this current story. And then we'll have to see what comes next. But let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you're excited. Let me know if you're going to be summoning for any of the stuff coming this month. I am personally so close on the Dezel banner to being able to grab a 5-star for free, which I do want to grab Simone's new 5-star, her 3rd one, because that's the only 5-star I don't have. Since I'm only 2 multis away, I'll do the 2 multis because I'm not summoning this month. And then after that, I'll just save whatever's coming next. With that tease of a form change coming, and I have no idea who it could be, I do want to be kind of prepared for that. So that's going to be it, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more if you're new to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.